Hey, 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 welcome, welcome. It's Friday Reads Live. I'm Dee Dee. I'm from Brown Girl Reading. And today is Friday where we talk about what we're reading today, this weekend, and sometimes into the following week. So for the moment, I see no one in the chat, but I'm going to hold fast and hope someone is going to show up before I start talking about what I'm reading today, this weekend, and into the following week. So if you're watching, please feel free to come into the chat and talk and tell everybody what you're reading and participate. We love getting, other people's recommendations and what they're reading at the moment. So while we're waiting for people to show up, I'm going to start talking about what I'm reading this month. Well, I'm reading, of course, this one right here, which is Bleak House. This is our read along read for the past month of October, November, and the first week of December. And I am sadly very behind. I have a lot of things going on, but I have resigned myself to reading 50 pages a day until I finish. If I stick to that, I should be finished either on the 30th of November or the 1st of December. So that's what we gonna do. That's what we gonna do. All right. And then the second thing I'm reading is this right here, which I'm reading from my Read Solid Book Club on Patreon, which is Narrative of Sojourner Truth. So this is in honor of Nonfiction November, and I have not started it yet, but I'm getting ready. I got everything all marked off and ready to go. So I might start. I think I'm going to read this in 4 sittings, if possible. So maybe the first sitting will be this weekend. And the next book I'm reading is The Romantic by William Boyd. I'm reading this for my Normandy book club where I live. And yeah, this is a big ass chunker of a book. 400 and I think 40 some odd pages. 451 pages. This will be my first William Boyd. I'm excited. The description sounds really good. A couple of people have already read it in my book club, and they said it read really, really well, and it was very interesting, and it read fast. So I'm gonna have to get started with this one this weekend because we're discussing this next Saturday. Mm. So I feel like this was your girl reading for the month. Okay, so that's it right there. All right, let's see who's in the chat. Let's see. Hello, Amalola. Welcome. Happy Friday. Hi, Birdie, Alicia, Tracy, Alba, Ola. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome, welcome to Friday Reads. Let's see. Birdie said she's reading Bleak House, of course, and Vagabond by Tim Curry. Okay, welcome, Curtis. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Billy. How are you? Amalola said, I'm reading The Barn, okay, by Wright Thompson. I heard Michael talk about this book. He read The Barn. There are rivers in the sky. Yeah, I have this on my TBR list by Elif Shafak. I love Elif Shafak's writing. And an elderly lady must not be crossed. Ooh, that sounds mysterious. By Helene Thurston. I guess that's is this like a cozy mystery? Maybe I'm not sure. And of course, Bleak House. Girl, I don't know how you're reading all that with Bleak House. I'm already struggling reading these, the three of these. I'm like, whew, I don't know how you do it. Um, I'm glad you're well, Billy. I am fine. I'm just a little tired at the moment because a lot going on, and I'm juggling way too many balls in the air, and I got to get it together. But I'm fine. Let's see. Alicia said she's reading Fish Tales by Nettie Jones. Okay, I don't know that one. How is it? Tracy said she's trying to catch up with Bleak House. Girl, we all trying to catch up with Bleak House. But I got distracted with my nonfiction reads. Yeah, well, nonfiction. I feel like if you're reading nonfiction, I mean, it can be consuming sometimes. So reading quite a few, I can understand why you put Bleak House on the side because You're in a nonfiction mindset, so I get it. Curtis said he's currently reading The Last Folk Hero, The Life and Myth of Bo Jackson by Jeff Pearlman. And We Are the Scribes by Randy Pink. Okay, I haven't heard of either one of these. But the first one sounds really interesting. The Last Folk Hero, The Life and Myth of Bo Jackson sounds interesting. Ooh, DL's in the house. Welcome, DL. How are you? What are you reading? What are you writing, DL? Let us know. Uh, Tracy said Queen Mother by Dr. Ashley Farmer. How I Know White People Are Crazy. Yeah, by Dr. Jonathan Lasseter. Yeah, I remember you were reading that last week. You preoccupied then with the nonfiction. Amalola said Indulgent Bibliophile Book Club this month is reading any book under the prompt with a protagonist 55 and plus. Yeah, I have something for that. I think I'm going to be reading a romance for that, but not this month. Probably next month. Unless I have time to listen to it as an audio, like when I'm crafting, and I could put that on as an audio, and then I could kill a couple birds with one stone. So I might try. I might try because I'm only 50. I think I've only done 50% of the something bookish reading challenge, which is more than I did the previous year. So I'm not going to complain, but I wanted to be at like at least 75%. But I still need to read a couple books for that to happen. So I might try to read that romance if I can. Uh, let's see. Hello, Margaret. Welcome. Happy Friday. Taking a slow morning today. Bonsoir. Bonsoir. Okay. Alicia said Fish Tales is a reissue, okay, of one of the last novels of Toni Morrison. Okay, I hadn't heard about this one. Edited in the 80s. It is a very sex laden novel. Okay, all right, Tony. I don't think I am grown enough to read it. Oh, come on, Alicia. That's hilarious. Okay. I need to hear more about this fish tales. So if you're going to Peter's workshop, I want to hear about fish tales while we crafting, girl. I want to hear all about it. DL said she's reading Systematic How Racism is Making Us Sickly by Lyell Liverpool, and we'll probably pick up some romances this weekend. Okay. There is a book on Jonestown coming up next on my list. Okay. Jonestown, as in the place where all those people drank the Kool Aid. Jonestown, is that the one you're talking about? Let me know. Um, Birdie said, I don't know why November specifically is always a slower reading month for me. It's a girl. It's the same for me. I have to admit, every November, same problem. Like I'll like make plans to read like at least two or three nonfiction and maybe one fiction or something like that. And I will read hardly anything. And I don't know if it's just lose speed in November. And then when December comes, I kind of pick up speed because I know it's the end of the year. Now, I have finished my reading challenge of 50 books, but I still have stuff that I need to read. And I don't know what it is about November, but I'm the same as you, Bertie. I just get really like in some kind of weird funk and I just get preoccupied with other stuff. I don't know. I think it's just how it is. The weather's changing are a lot shorter. And I think that's another thing I don't like. I don't like short days. This is horrible for me. I've been trying to swatch inks for the past week, and just to get proper lighting is just a disaster because every day here is gray, 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 gray. So I don't know. I think it's just a November thing. Billy said she's reading A Forgotten Migration and Black AF History. I kind of want to start the year with Black AF History because it's been sitting around. I need to read that. Oh, you finished Heavy Way. Yeah, that's a great novel. That's a great memoir. And The Devil in the Blue Dress, also great, great book. Really, really good. Um, So what? So you're going to be reading. So you're reading A Forgotten Migration. Who wrote A Forgotten Migration? Um, yeah, because that one I'm trying to place it. Tracy said, I'm battling an oh my God, respiratory infection that's kicking my butt. So that's slowing down my oh my God, Tracy, take care of yourself, girl. Those are horrible. That's like my nightmare right there. Right there, what you're saying. That, as an asthmatic, that's my nightmare is getting that. So I'm like super careful now that it's, I hear people coughing and, sneezing everywhere. So I've got mask in my purse, mask in my car. I'm getting masked up because I just don't want to get anything like that. But I say stay warm, drink lots of hot tea with honey, and try to get some of the mucus expelled out of your, out of your lungs. That's the most important thing. I hope you get better very quickly. Amalola said 2 books in this elderly lady series. Okay, very tiny books. They're pocket size and about an 88-year-old Swedish lady who gets rid of her Oh, okay. By some very diabolical means and enjoying them. Oh, well, that sounds really good. Okay, I want to hear more about those. DL said, I'm done writing for the year. Okay, well done. I have a holiday short to edit and have out early in December. Okay, so you straight. All right. Tracy said I also finished Black AF History. Yeah, a lot of people reading that at the moment. Amalola said finish Black AF History, so wonderfully unique. Okay, very nice. So y'all like getting me to I'm gonna be putting that in January. Amalola said to Tracy, oh no, feel better. Yeah, this is terrible. Yes. Okay. The Kool-Aid drinking people. Okay. Because I was like, Jonestown. Yeah. Oh, child. I don't know if I want to read about that because I remember I remember that when I was younger, when I was a kid, and everybody was talking about it. They had all the stuff on TV about it. I was just like, oh my God, this is tragic. Super tragic. I don't know. Cults creep me out. They really do. They really creep me out. So I'm not really keen on reading about cults too much. Um, Alicia said she plans to be at the work. Oh, okay, good. I want to hear all about it. Peter might kick us out talking about the book. No, she don't want us talking about the book. Of course she don't want us talking about the book. Come on now. Um, Tracy said thank you to Amalola. Okay, and DL said the road to Jonestown, Jim Jones and People's Temple. That was what it was called, People's Temple. By Jeff Green. That whole thing was just weird to me. It was called People's Temple, and they were trying to get to into space or some bullshit like that. I don't know. It was weird. He had all those people superly jacked up and I guess high on I don't know what. Cause the stuff that he was spouting, I don't know how anybody could believe any of that mess. DL said, I've read some interesting nonfiction this month. I hear you on being tired by November. Yeah. December is just short holiday reads. Yeah. Amalola said, I'm a forever Kiese Lehman. Yeah, me too. Heavy is on, it is an excellently done book. It really is. I mean, Kiese Lehman is, you know, he can do no wrong. I mean, he wrote the hell out of that memoir. It really touched me. It was just oh my god, so well done. Billy said Crystal Sanders is the author. Oh, okay, of A Forgotten Migration. Okay, that the name is more familiar now. Hey Kay, how are you? Case is not sure what I want to read next. I think I'll get back to James. I just finished the Heaven and Earth grocery store and misbehaving at the crossroads. I need a mindless thriller or something. Maybe read King of Ashes. Have you read that yet? You may have already read it though. I think. Um, what did you think of the Heaven and Earth grocery store? I absolutely love that book. Tracy said thanks so much. Billy said I'm so glad that I read Heavy. Some great readers encouraged me to read it, and I'm grateful. Yeah, it's a wonderful book. Curtis said to Tracy, I loved Black AF history. It was such a creative way to write slash approach a nonfiction book. Okay. DL said, sounds like some mess. I love a code book. Well, you gonna be. I think you're gonna be impressed by that because I can remember. Yeah, it was something like the reason why they were drinking the Kool Aid at the end was so that they could pass over, into another planet or something like that, to another world or something like that. He convinced them all to take the Kool Aid, and anyone take the Kool Aid who tried to run away at the last minute, that got in getting second thoughts, they got shot. You know, that was just crazy, a crazy mess. That um, Mick. I think this is. I'm not sure who this is because your handle is different. Um, Mick BLM says, I'm reading All the Lonely People by Mike Gale. I've heard about this book. I heard everybody say it's so good. Started Black AF history, but progression is not going so well. Oh, why is it not going so well? Get the audio book and listen and read at the same time, or just listen to it. It might help you get interested. Amalua said, "Oh, an elderly lady is short stories but connected." Oh, okay, so that's good. You're killing two birds with one stone there, because one of the challenges is to read short story collection with connected short stories, along with reading one with a protagonist over 50 years old. So you're killing two birds with one stone, girl. Go ahead. Light and a palate cleanser. Okay, that's fantastic. Bertie said, Tracy, I hope you feel better soon because upper respiratory infections are the worst. Yeah. Um, Tracy said, I absolutely agree to Curtis. Bertie said, heavy is fantastic, but it made me cry a lot. Yeah. Tracy said, thank you to Bertie. Hello, Karen. Welcome. Run Right Reads in the house, y'all. What are you reading? Let us know. Or what was the last read that you really, really liked that you want to recommend? Amalila said, I'll listen to a code book. They're right up there with serial killers. I know you like that stuff, but I do not like reading about people being bamboozled into that bullshit right there. But if you like a cold book, then that sounds like the one for you because they was crazy. Okay, it's like out of their minds, drinking Kool Aid that was, I don't know, laced with, I don't know what he was lacing his Kool Aid with, but whatever. Um, let's see. Kay said, I love the Heaven and Earth grocery store. I've already read King of, yeah, I thought so. When I say mindless thriller, I mean someone, I meant something not as good as, I don't know what to tell you. I mean campy and predictable. Okay, well then read something campy and predictable. Well then read something by that lady that you like so much. What's her name? Frida. Read something by Frida because she probably got some new book out or something. Tracy said, talk about a crazy book. Try reading The True Happiness Company by Vina Dinavahi. No, I'm past, girl. I'm past. Curtis said to Mick BLM, I read All the Lonely People by Mike Gale last year and loved it. Yeah, I remember you saying you loved that one. His writing is so fantastic. I will be reading The Museum of Ordinary People by him next year. I like his titles, All the Lonely People and The Museum of Ordinary People. What an original title. I like that. Yeah, so it looks like, yeah, everybody's winding down this end of the year with their reading, reading a bit slower and and a little less. Um, okay, case a lot of thriller books out there. I'll find, yeah, but you said you wanted light and campy, girl, so be careful. um, Amalua said thanks for that rec to Tracy. DL said Ellis Stratton just released a campy fun book. Okay, there you go. in deadly company. I think it is okay. Amalola said she loves Mike Gale. Yeah, I said in deadly company. I think yeah. Kay said I had started Beloved. Oh, that's too serious, girl. That's but I did not feel like it. No, I know you didn't feel like it. Not in the mood because you need something light. That ain't it. Okay, that ain't it. Tracy said you're welcome to Amalola, and Kay said I like Ella Stratton. So that's something right there. Um, yeah. So is anybody doing that challenge 10 books before the end of the year challenge? Like some people are, they're doing videos or doing posts where they show the last 10, well, the last 10 books they hope to read before the 31st. And is anybody cutting their reading off early? Like I know some people they like stop reading the 15th of December. Does anybody do that? Did you read the Mrs. Gray's? I don't know the Mrs. Gray's books. Kay said, "Yep." Tracy said, "Mike Gale is black British." Yeah, I think so. Bertie said, "I posted my video for." Oh, so you doing it 10 before the end? Yeah, that's it. About two. Oh, you posted it 2 weeks ago. So how's that going? See, I was thinking about doing that, posting 10 before the end, but I said no. That would jinx the whole thing, and I would probably only read five. So I'm not doing none of that. I'm just watching other people's and keeping it moving. Those kind of videos when I make them, they're terrible because I wind up only doing half of them. Wait, wait, what's going fast? Okay, DL said no, I'll be reading until 11:59 on December 31st. I'm the same, but I know that some people do that cutoff thing. Kay said, Seth and Paul D wanted me to hang out with them. But I said nope. Karen said, I read until midnight on December 31st. Can make the wrap up videos in January. Yeah, I think I wrap up in January as well. I don't wrap up in December. Tracy said, I'm determined to get to Dorothy Coomson early next year. I'm definitely gonna get to Coomson. I want to read her duology, The Ice Cream Girls, and I don't remember what the second one is called. That's the one that I have slotted for next year. Amalola said, I may, waiting to see what my Christmas plans are. If I'm leaving here, then I won't read anything after the 20th. Well, yeah, because you're gonna be with your family and your friends and stuff. You're not gonna be reading, girl. Bertie said, of course, every book I want to read is a chunkster story of my life. Oh, yeah, no. See, that's why I don't do that. 10 to the end would be no. It would be the end of my reading. I would not read anything. DL said, I don't know what I'm reading next week, let alone before the end of the year. Well, I know I'm reading these three this month. I know I'm reading this is what I'm reading for the month of November. I know that. Now December, we just gonna have to see how that goes. I don't know. We gonna see how that works out because there's plenty of things I could read before the end of the December that I have not read yet that I need to finish. So we're gonna see how that goes because December is always a weird month. There's a lot going on, and yeah, I don't know. Amala said, I didn't get to all the Mammoth books I had on my TBR. Neither did I. But I read other Mammoth books to exchange. Because a couple of them, like I wasn't expecting, I hadn't predicted to be reading Bleak House. And so that's going to exchange for another one. And I read a couple of other ones that were like 500 plus pages. So I read something. I don't know how many. I think I maybe read 10 big books over 500 pages, I think, which is still pretty good. So I'm not going to complain. Um, yeah, life be lifing. Tracy said the Ice Cream Girls and the sequel, All My Lives Are True. Yeah, that's what I'm going to read next year. But this is not a new one. This is a backlisted duology from her. from I don't know the All My Lives Are True. I think that came out a couple of years ago because she sent me a copy of All My Lives Are True in paperback, and I already had the Ice Cream Girls, so I just need to sit down and read that. But I also have something else by her. I think it's called The Petals on the Beach. That might be the title of the book. It's a big chunker of a book though. The Petals on the Beach. And I think that's the only books that I have from Dorothy Coomson. So we're gonna see how the Ice Cream Girls duology goes, and then we'll play. We'll go from there, choosing something else because she has a lot of books that she's written. A lot. Tracy said, "All my lives are true." Yeah, 2020. That's right. It's not new. I know she has some other stuff out that's new, but I don't know the titles of the books. So yeah, you'd have to look it up because she has a very very big backlist for writing. Um, so yeah, so it's really cool seeing how the year is ending so quickly. I can't keep up. I can't keep up. Tracy said, "Yeah, she's a heavy hitter." And yeah, she is. She's definitely a heavy hitter in the UK. Has been for a while. But for some reason, American content creators don't really talk about her and don't really read her books. So yeah, I'm not sure what that's all about. I think it might also just be because she doesn't get the publicity in the same way as maybe the way other British authors do. Amalissa says, "Every smile you fake, I know what you've done, are the two on my shelves by Dorothy Coomson. Sorry for the caps copy. No, it's no problem. Every Smile You Fake. Yeah, I've seen this title before, and I know what you've done. That one is very popular. That's a popular title. That one, if I'm not mistaken. I wonder if any of these have been adapted into film because that would be kind of cool to see. Because I think the British are very good at filming, those kind of mystery or kind of situational things. I think they do that really well. Although I'm not sure. Has anyone seen the Frankenstein adaptation on Netflix yet? Wait a see. Mick BLM says, "What's the author's name?" That's a heavy hitter. Her name is Dorothy Coomson. Let's see. I think Tracy wrote her name. If you scroll back, you'll see under Tracy wrote her name. I think. Okay, Tracy's written it again. Dorothy Coomson. Wait. I missed something. Okay, so Amalova said she got them for cheap at half price books. Amalova said Ice Cream Girls is on ITV. Okay, that's what I thought. Because I think Ice Cream Girls duology was one that was very popular from her. So I'm interested to maybe it'll come to Netflix. I don't know because like I noticed Netflix has done all of the Harlan Coben ones. They're really, really popular on Netflix. And then they did, is it the Minette Walters? I think Minette Walters has been adapted as well. And there's another one that's British adapted a while ago, a long time ago, and it was really good. And then I think Carla Laxberg has been adapted as well. I think she's Swedish, if I'm not mistaken. Um, oh, others have been optioned. Okay, yeah. So that she's like somebody that I think needs more love from the community, particularly from the American community, because I think she gets the love in the British community. I mean, I would imagine from the British content creator, she gets quite a lot of love, but I don't think she gets much love from the American community. So that would be something for us too. try next year and see how we like her writing and her storytelling. Where can we watch Ice Cream Girls? She said it was on ITV, but I don't have ITV. But you can always put it in Google and say watch Ice Cream Girls and see what it says. It'll propose you places where you can actually go and watch, but you may have to pay to watch it. I'm a little upset. I read to Minette Walters this year, The Last Hours and The Turn of Midnight. They were pretty good. Yeah, I like her. I mean, I wouldn't read a Minette Walters, but I like watching it. I'm a little upset about the Black Death, but then again, I like that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I would watch that. Why not? I watch that. Her stuff is good. A lot of times I watch these, but I won't read them. Sometimes it depends. But like, there's another one. Has anyone read the Louise Penny series? Because that's another one everybody talks about, and they say it's a really good detective series. Louise Penny. There's Louise Penny, and then there's another one. I can't think of the name right now though. Um, what's it called? That other one, that other series. Oh, I can't think of the name. It's a woman too. I don't remember. Um, she's Canadian. I think she's French Canadian. I read one of them. Wash this blood clean from your hands. I think it's called the title. I can't remember the name of the author, but she's got a whole series of books. She's That book was actually pretty good, but the only problem with that book was it was not the first book of the series. It was like the fifth book of the series or something. So that was a little disappointing. I would have liked to have started at the beginning. Tracy said just looked it up. Ice Cream Girls can be watched on BritBox. Yeah, I ain't got that. Oh, okay, BritBox Prime Video. Yeah, and Apple TV. Sadly, I don't have Apple TV. Mm-mm. Your girl ain't paying all that TV. I read. I'm not paying all that TV, but I have Amazon Prime and I have Netflix, but I do not have Apple TV and I do not have BritBox, of course. So yeah, it doesn't look like I'll be able to watch that at any point. Unless they pick it up for Netflix or something like that, which sometimes they do that, but it takes a while before they can do that, before they can just sort of pick up a series that's popular like that. But there was another thing. I was scrolling yesterday or the day before yesterday, and I saw what's her name? Sarah Jessica Parker was talking. She was being interviewed about being a judge for the Booker Prize, and she said, "Yeah, we had to read 150 books, and a lot of them we had to read twice." And so they asked her, "So, how did you do this? Did you skim?" And she said, "No, I read every single, word." And I was like, "I don't think that's possible without skimming." Um, yeah, I don't think it's possible because it's so I think what they did was they read all of them, the all 150 books or 160 books, whatever it was. And then they reread some of them because they were, trying to judge which ones they were really going to put in as the long list, which I think the long list of the Booker is 13 books, I think it is, or 11 books, I can't remember. I don't believe there's no way like you got to shower, you got to sleep, you got to eat, you got to see people. You got to work. I don't know how this woman is out here reading 160 books, reading every word, saying, literally saying, I did not skim. And when she said it in the interview, the room was quiet. Like everybody was like, what? I was like, no, you lying, girl. You are lying. You lying. Tracy said, how can you and your judging be accurate if you're just skimming the books? Girl, she said she was reading them all. So she said she was not skimming. Amala said, and she's a celeb with a life. I know, right? A life, if you life and more than our life. Old girl said she read every word. So I don't know. I don't believe her. Because, some of these books be intense. These are not books that you can read so quickly. I mean, considering you're being a judge, you need time to kind of, say, okay, this pile I love, this pile I didn't love, and you need to reflect, maybe make some notes because if you're reading 150 books, how do you remember the good things about anything unless you take the time to note something down, so that you can say, oh yeah, I remember that book had this, this, and this. I love this in the book. I hated this in the book. I just don't believe it. I think really what they do is I feel like they start reading the book and I think they either read to a certain point in the book, like maybe they read the first third of the book, and if by the first third of the book it's not catching fire, they drop it and they go to the next book. I think that's what they actually do. I don't really believe that they read every single word. I think it's, like if it's a book of 350 pages, they read about to page 120. And if by 120 it ain't getting it, guess what? It ain't happening. They just gonna drop that and move on to the next one. Now I know like the size book was 700 pages, but think about all of the other books that were in the long list, the ones that we never saw, never heard about. Those that's the private list that the booker refuses to release. There could have been many books in there that were 600, 700, 500 pages. But to lie and say that you read every single word of all 150 books to me just seems ludicrous. Like, why? You know, just say I only read to page, we only read the first third of the book. And then if it really catches on, then I keep reading, I keep reading. I'm like, oh, okay. And then, and if it ain't catching fire, then I'm dropping it, because that's really what a lot of the judges in different prizes do is they read to, because there's like a standard for that. Like a lot of books here in France, they had this thing. The show was called, I think it was called Page 115 or something like that, because they would read up to page 115, and that was the point in which, if someone is judging a book, if by 105 page 115 it wasn't really drawing them in, then it was a done deal. It wasn't happening, and they got outs. The book got outs. And I feel like it's the same, but I don't have any proof of that, but it just seems the most logical thing to do. If you're reading a book and it's 700 pages and you read 100, 200 pages and you're just, or you're not getting it, then you're just going to say no. Put that on the no list. Now, what could happen is, let's say she put that 700-page book on the side as no, I didn't like that. And then when they come and meet up and they decide to make a long list, so I imagine each one makes their long list. And then if there are things in common, then that's good. But then when there are things that are not in common, they have to read each other's books again. So let's imagine it's that 700-page book that she thought was a freaking bore. Now she got to go back and read that whole book because two judges said they really liked that 700-page book. So I would think that in that case, then yeah, the one that she only read 200 pages of that was 700 pages that she put in the no pile, now it's in the possibly pile. So now she really got to read it. So now she's reading the 700 pages. But I don't believe that she read 150 books, every single word. I don't believe it. Curtis said, Didi, I'm with you. I don't believe her either. Tracy said, so that means the judging isn't accurate. Can't give a true assessment if you don't read the book. Now, I'm not going to say it's not a good assessment. Um, Although, in your case, Tracy, I'm going to play devil's advocate. If you're saying that because she didn't read the entire book, that it's not accurate, that could be possible. I feel like at some point you can have some books that take a turn around the 65% of the book, and they turn around and the from 60% to one to the finish of the book, it's great, but the first 60% of the book is like a no-go. Now you can look at this, you can say, okay, now is this book really worthy of a prize if you got to read past 60% of the book to get interested? They can look at it like that and say, well, no, because if people are going to be, if an author is going to win this prize, it's because their book is good from page one or at least by page 50, So I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. Let's see. Tracy said, exactly. I don't get the sense of saying X amount of books were read if they weren't really read. Okay. Karen said maybe she meant she read every word of the long list, not the initial 50, 100. No, what she said was all the 150 books she read. Amalola said maybe there needs to be a division of labor where books are allocated to each judge and they don't have to read everything. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like they all get their books, the 150 of them, and they just proceed how they want. So, like I said, they'll read up to a certain point, and if it ain't catching fire, then it's dump. If it's catching fire, then good. If it's in the middle, then it's in the middle, and then at the end, they look at probably all the books that they really really liked. Let's say there's 20 books. Now they've got to limit it down to 13 because the long list is 13. And then when they're together, they all have their list of 13. Now, I mean, imagine if they had a list of 13 and none of them were in common, which I don't believe that. I'm sure that at least half of their books were in common when they met up with their 13. At least half of them were in common because it can't be that, dispersed. But, who knows? But then after that, they have to then go back and reread some things because maybe three of the judges said, I really like this book. And one said, I don't really like this book. So now the one that said, I don't really like it, got to go and read the whole thing again because she probably only read the first third and didn't like it. So I just don't see why she's sitting there saying, I read every fucking word. Just be honest with us and tell us how did you go about this process? And I don't feel like she was being totally honest. I think she was lying. Karen said, I agree. You can't accurately review the book if you haven't read the whole thing, but you can certainly rank it against, yeah, another book without having read the entire. See, that's where I'm coming from because essentially that's what it is. It's a prize where you've got contenders. So you can pretty much say if your book ain't catching fire the first 100 pages, you're doomed and you're in the down list for sure. Boop, right there. Nobody's going to go and read your entire 400, 500 page book if the first 100 pages ain't getting it. So I feel like I feel that's the most logical way to have to judge something like that. DL said, don't they get a year to read those books? Tracy with the stacks read for the LA Times book prize and read nothing but book prize books for a year. Yeah, they get them for a year, but it's a lot of books. It's a lot of books. Um, I think she said it was 150, 160. It's a lot of books though. Um, even if you're reading quite a lot of pages to say that you were going to read that you're reading every single word. I'm not convinced that she read every single word of 150 books. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. Billy said, I've never seen so many people lie about reading books since I was in high school. It's childish to lie about reading a book, in my opinion. But I feel like also they lie because, they're she's a judge. So they're thinking automatically, well, judges must read the entire book. But I wish they would just, get off of it and just say the truth because they already had there was a video circulating on YouTube. I don't remember who exactly was doing it. I had happened upon it, and the person was had been friends with someone who was a judge for the Booker, and that person told him, "No, you don't read the whole book." The guy said his friend said that. So that's why I'm kind of looking at her with the side, and I'm like, girl, come on now. Karen said it was also interesting to hear Kylie Reed's interview where she said she read two books at the same time and made the books battle against each other. Yeah, I thought that was funny too. Because I feel like for me, I would never do something like that. I mean, I feel like if I'm judging, I'm gonna read that one book, and then when I'm done, I'm gonna go to the next one. But I ain't battling. Now I could battle maybe if the two books have similar themes or something like that. Which the Booker Prize, the short list, some of the books have similar themes, so I could see how that that could go down. But it seems very difficult for me to understand why somebody would do that. It just seems ludicrous. But okay, okay, Kylie Reed. Um, Amalola's laugh. What? Yeah, I know. I saw that interview and I just thought this girl's kind of, kind of flaky. She kind of, ooh, like this. Kylie Reed. Anyway, I just wanted to run that past y'all to see what y'all thought, but I just was like, okay, whatever. Amalola said, for the poly readers in here, could you ever go back to reading a book at a time? Uh, I mean, there was a time when I read a book at a time. When I first started BookTube, I was reading a book at a time. But then I quickly got back into my college ways and started reading, two or three books, but never more than three books at a time. Um, yeah, yeah. I have difficulty with that now. I'm wanting to read three books at a time because I'm reading because like these three are distinctly different. This one is a slave narrative. This one is a British classic, and this one is a lit fic. So reading the three of them together is fine for me. Now, if I was reading Bleak House and I don't know Test of the D'Urbervilles and the House of Mirth, this would be a problem. Although in college I had to do that a couple of times because I was, taking two courses that were classic, one 18th century, another one 19th century. So you start getting into similar books, and this is not fun because it's like, ugh, it gets all turned around. Mm. Okay, Amola said, I think it's a marker of my attention span shortening. Maybe, maybe not. You still reading, so your attention span can't be that bad. DL said I dip between one and three books at a time. Okay. It's similar to me. Karen said I can read multiple books at a time, but I think it's also fun to fully immerse into a single story. Yeah, I agree, Karen. I said, yes, I used to do one at a time in uni, but not since. One at a time in uni? No, I've never done one at a time in uni. It was always three, sometimes even four at a time, depending on what courses I was taking. Karen said, I'm reading for the Read to Lit book club. We're reading Narrative of Sojourner Truth, and this is the Penguin Black edition. Amala said, just me thinking out loud. So yeah, that was the only thing that I saw last week in the bookish world that I was just kind of like, And then, did anybody watch the Booker announcement online? Because that was a shit show. Woo! They couldn't keep the sound. They didn't show anything. They kept playing this crappy jazz music the whole time. The camera was all over the place and not on anything in particular. And when the Roddy Doll got up there and he made the announcement, he said the winner is, and he said Flesh. There was shouts and everybody was like, ah, and in the comment section it was kind of like mixed. Some people were like, yay, some people were like, oh my God. So that was kind of funny. And then it got even weirder because um the winner, the guy David, what's his name, Salzay, got up there and they give him the award, they give him the trophy, and he's like walking off the stage. And the lady was on at the other podium said, David, are you gonna give us a few words? And he goes, oh yeah. And then she said, don't worry, they'll give you your award back. So they took his thing from him. He stands in front of the podium and he's like, uh, well, yeah, thank you. Yeah, my publicist told me I should probably plan on something to say. Maybe she knew something in advance. I don't know. And I thought, oh boy, here we go. So he like started talking, but he wasn't really anything. Like he was saying the same thing over and over again. And I was like, this man is drunk. I was like, this man is tipsy as hell. It was like he was like, oh shit, I gotta stand up here and talk. And he was like not sounding intelligent at all. The comment section went wild. They started like they were like, he drunk. I was like, yeah, he looked drunk. He looked like he had one too many. It was a hot mess. So finally, after he babbled and thanked a few people and probably forgot to thank a whole shit ton of people, but be that as it may, he comes down off of the podium, off the stage, and the young man, the I think he was a Pakistani origin British young man. He has like a TikTok where he critiques people with this funny voice he has. So he grabbed David as he was coming off the stage, and he was like, "How you feeling? How you feeling?" And it was like, how many times is he going to ask him, "How are you feeling?" Like two times? Okay, stop it. Don't ask him how he's feeling anymore. And then he's like, "Is there anything you want to say now that you didn't say on stage?" And I just thought, "Oh Lord," I was like, Booker Prize, y'all fucked that up. It was a hot fucking mess for people watching online. So then the day after, I went and I looked at Eric Carl Anderson's videos because I know he gets invited to that event every year and he usually films it. So I go over to his thing and it's stellar. You saw the room, you saw how they make like a cloth bound book for each book that is shortlisted, and they're gorgeous. These cloth bound books with the theme of the book and everything done really really well. So he showed all of those. He showed some of the people, some of the booktubers that were there. He showed some of the authors and famous black actors and people that were there. And then he showed the menu, he showed the food when it came out, and he showed a look. You saw everything. Everything that the Booker Prize was supposed to show us online. If you want to see it, go over to Eric Carl Anderson's video. It's stellar. He did a great job. I was like, they need to hire you next year. So he said, yeah, I heard it was a little lackluster. I said, lackluster, lack of a better word, it was worse than lackluster. So that was how the Booker ended. And I just thought, oh my God, what a mess. What a mess. Let's see. Karen said, I watched the announcement. The complaints in the comments were the most entertaining. It was. It was very entertaining, the comment section. Tracy said he sure was. He wasn't trying to speak at all. Like he gonna grab his trophy and just walk off the stage. A prize like the Booker Prize, you ain't gonna say nothing to nobody. You just gonna grab the trophy and walk off the stage. I was like, this man right here, he got to be drunk. Um, then Tracy says he sure was. He wasn't trying to speak at all. Amala said he wasn't expecting to win. Look, even if you're not expecting to win, if they call your name and they say you won and you weren't expecting to win, at least you could muster up, get your award, say thank you, hug the person, and then you turn right to the podium and say, "I want to thank my mom, God, my publicist, whoever you want to thank." No, he grabbed the thing. He trying to get off the stage. Oh my God, this man right here is a mess, a hot mess. Um, Sharon said, "Hey everyone, YouTube is not my friend today. I'm reading the Crick. Oh, Crick Crack is good, and the Birds of Opulence. That's also one. Those are my two of my favorite books. Happy reading." Tracy said, "Oh Lord, not drunk. I don't think he was drunk, but I think he was tipsy. I think he was very tipsy. Amala said, was it the TikToker guy? Yeah, it was. You know the one he critiques all the videos and stuff. He's really funny, and but I thought he was kind of. I don't think he was at ease in the position that he was in because I watched it the previous year and it had the booktuber, the that white British booktuber that's got like a million followers or something. He was fantastic. He took us around. He was really funny. He showed us everything, and it was like really like something that you would show people that are not able to be there, the online audience. He did a really good job. And this year it was like they had planned nothing. It's like they didn't tell him you have to animate this. They never even really showed him like interviewing or anything until like towards the end when he grabbed David as he was coming off the stage. So I didn't really get it. It was like they didn't plan anything. And I just thought, how awful. They planned nothing. Let's see. I'm looking at the guy that does the puffer stuff. Yeah, I think that's him. Jack Edwards. That's who it was who did it. I think it was last year that he did it. Jack Edwards. He did a fantastic job. I mean, we came in right on time. This one started late. We never had misconnection or no sound or none of the shit that they had going on this last one. We didn't have any of that. So I don't know what was going on, but it was like they said, "Oh, we got people online. Oh, okay, plug it in." Like they had nothing planned. Um, and there was a person representing the booker that was in the comment section, and they would be like making comments. Are you enjoying the music? Do you like jazz? And I was like, yeah, I like jazz, but damn, we've been listening to this music the whole time when there was stuff literally going on, and they weren't showing it to us. I don't know what happened. It was not good. Amalo said Jack is on a good run with his Cillian Murphy, etc. interviews around books. He had Cillian animated like you've never seen. Yeah. Well, they should have got him again this year because he was good. I mean, I thought he did it really well. Now, I feel like with him, they really planned something. But this year, I feel like they did not plan properly for the online audience. So I'm not sure why that is, but it wasn't good. It really wasn't. It was very disappointing actually um, to watch. So yeah, there you have it. So I'll probably read. I have Flesh. I'll read that probably in the new year. That'll be the first one I read because I have a couple of books from the Booker short list. I have Flesh, Flashlight. What was it? I have um Kieran Desai's book and what's the other one called? The one with the middle aged. I have that one, and I also have one that wasn't on the short list, which is Love Forms. So I'll start with Flesh in the new year and see what that's like. Yeah, Tracy said it seemed like an afterthought. Yeah, it did. That's how it came off. But I don't see how it can be an afterthought when it's been an integral part of this award show. Is that there is an online show. I remember the first time I actually actively watched the online one was when Marlon James won for A Brief History of Seven Killings. And I knew he was going to win. I just knew it. And I was like, I have to watch it because I know he's going to win. And that was the first year I watched it. And that year, it was fine. The online, thing was fine. It was like, they showed us everything. And I don't know what was going on with this one. It just wasn't like they just didn't care or whatever. So there were a lot of very disappointed people in the comment section, but as Karen said, it was lit. It was funny what people were saying in the comment section. They probably took the comment section off because it was just people were saying stuff. It was funny. Um, but yeah, so I don't know what's going on with that. But next year they're doing the Booker for children, so that's interesting how that plays out. Um, it should be interesting to see how they're going to do that and which books are going to wind up on that book for children. So I'm very excited to see how that's going to turn out because um this is something that was surprising that they announced. Tracy said yeah, the comments were hilarious. They were very funny. So that's it, y'all. I ain't got nothing else to say. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. All the people reading Bleak House, hang in there. You can do it. We're going to get this done. You still have 3 weeks. It's very doable. So hang in there, people. And I will see you next Friday. Same time, same bat channel. Bye bye.